All right, first and foremost, all praise, honor, and glory is unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakar with us. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders at GMS that rule well. Salutations unto the elect Akim enduring in this truth with all long suffering and sound doctrine. All right, so just real quick, I'm at the plantation, and I was talking to one of my co-workers, Edomite co-worker, or a so-called white person, and the topic of racism came up. And one thing that this co-worker mentioned was racism will never stop. Hatred will never stop, which is true, all right? But then following that statement, saying the cure to racism is love, and don't everybody have love, okay? Which there is no cure to racism, for one, all right? Because the Most High himself, when you go into the Holy Scriptures, he's a racist, all right? And the word racist simply means to believe that a nation of people is more superior than another. Okay, that's where a lot of people get the word racist or racism misconstrued. Okay, but that is the edification on it, is to believe that your nation is better than another, superior than another. Okay, so like I said, there is no cure to racism, because we as Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we will always be a superior people unto the other nations. In this kingdom of Babylon or America, our people, they don't look like they're a superior people as far as power, okay? Now, but as far as when you go to like sports and just natural strength, Jake has that, man. Jake is taking over all over the place, all different types of sports. They're running people. They're running people out of the rings, boxing rings. Okay, they're taking over all these different sports that at a point were predominantly ruled by heathens, or really these Edomites. Okay, but back to the statement. This co-worker said that the cure to racism is love, and don't everybody have that. Now, when you go into love, okay, we know what love is. Love is the keeping of the commandments. And guess what? I say this co-worker was absolutely right, because everybody don't have love, man. Everybody don't have the law, statutes, and commandments. It was only given unto Israel, all right? Which we are the superior nation, in the eyes of our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, the Most High Yahweh. Okay, so I want to get a couple scriptures, and Lord willing, this is edifying, hey, let's get straight into it. This is Deuteronomy 14 and verse 1. It says, "Ye are the children of the Lord your power. You should not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead." It says, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power, and the Lord have chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all the nations that are upon the earth." Right now, we're just in our captivity. All right, this is the last captivity that we're going to be in. Okay, but when it comes to to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, we are that peculiar people, and I'm gonna get this word peculiar here in a second. I already have it pulled up in the dictionary. All right, but it says above all nations that are upon the earth. So that's above so-called white people. That's above these so-called Africans, so-called Hawaiians, so-called Chinese, so-called Japanese, so on and so forth. All right. The Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, or the Israelites, are above every nation upon the earth, man. And that's just what the scriptures say. Now, how do we know this is talking about Israel? Okay. I'm going to get this in the same book, Deuteronomy. Salakia for the win. Deuteronomy chapter 4. Okay? Because this is the book of the laws. Okay? The book of the commandments. One of the books of the commandments. All right? Which I said before, love is the commandments, and that was only given unto Israel according to Psalms 149. So it says this: Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do them that ye may live, and go in and possess the land which the Lord Yahweh of your fathers giveth you. Now going down to verse, which it just runs it down. I was just for edification. It's talking unto Israel. And the scriptures, the laws and the commandments never at any time was given directly unto the heathens. It was always given unto Israel, and the heathens were supposed to follow suit. Okay, which that's going to come to pass in the kingdom of heaven. All right, when the restitution of all things is at hand. All right, so this is I'm gonna jump down to verse. I'm gonna jump down to verse 5, and I want to go to verse 7 or 8. It says, Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and understanding, and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, Surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people, which is supposed to be us. Okay, now of course, judgment is perverted in this place. Okay, our people they're not the same. They don't uphold the laws and the commandments. Okay, that's why these nations know who we are, man. Like anytime that we were getting ready to go to war, these nations, like when they seen wickedness going on in Israel, they knew that they can overcome, because the Most High didn't have our backs. All right, but once the Most High, when the Most High did have our backs, that's when we were keeping the laws and statutes and commandments, and these people were overtaken. Okay, these heathen nations, they know who the hell we are, man. It's just our people, as Isaiah the 1st chapter and the 3rd verse says. They don't consider who they are, man. They don't consider that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is for them. But these nations, these different nations, these heathen nations, they know who the hell we are. Okay? That's why it says we should be made a laughing stock and a mockery among all the nations, because of the way our people carry themselves. You see our people acting foolish. You see our people cooning. They're following the education of the so-called white man or the society, and they're not following the scriptures. These nations know who the hell we are. That's why they're laughing at us to this day, man. That's where we got all these bywords and shit from too, man. But reading on, it says, For what nation is there so great who have Yahweh so nigh unto them, as the Lord our power is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that has statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? All right, so this love, this was given unto us. This love was given unto us. This love was not given unto the heathen nations, man. All right, so there's no cure for racism. We'll be always, even in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to rule these different nations with a rod of iron, according to the book of Psalms, the 1st chapter. Okay? We're going to rule these nations with a rod of iron, man. That means we're going to be above them. The law is going to be pushed out through us. The commandments are going to be pushed out through us. And we're going to repay these different nations what they've done unto us, man. Every nation, every heathen nation upon the earth had their hands on Israel at some point in time, man. All right? So I want to get back into this Deuteronomy 14, this word peculiar. Okay? Now it says, For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power, and the Lord have chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself above all the nations that are upon the earth. So I'm going to pull it up and see what it says in here, and I also have it in the dictionary, all right? So this word peculiar, all right? And it is the Hebrew word Sagala, which is possession, property, valued property, peculiar treasure. Okay. Let me go down here. It says, proper good, special. Okay, we are we are special unto the Most High. Now I'm gonna get in here in the dictionary. It says, strange, queer, odd, uncommon, unusual, distinctive in nature or character from others. And that's how we carry ourselves different from these other nations. And especially from these Africans, because our people think they're Africans. Okay. Now you can tell who's Jake by how they carry themselves, by their swag, how they dress, how they eat, just about how they operate. You can tell who's Jake and who's not, man. All right. That's why we don't judge by skin color. We don't judge by skin color like these base men in the spirit are. Because guess what? There's a confusion of faces where our people were spread among all the nations, man. And you can tell by how they carry themselves who's of Israel. Okay? It says, belonging to characteristically. Are we not in the image of our Lord Yahweh? Did it not say he should create man in the likeness of his image? Okay? Now that goes from the skin tone, which is not only the skin tone, okay, it's also his ways, the love, the commandments, the statutes. All right. It says, belonging exclusively to some person, group, or thing. We belong unto Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. At the end of the day, all these nations belong unto the Lord. All right, but we are that number one people, man. We are that special people. There's no nation above the nation of Israel. It says we are the salt of the earth. We are the former of all things. So there's no such thing as a cure for racism, because we're always going to be superior to these other nations. Whether these people believe it or not, whether they want to accept it or not, Israel will always be a peculiar nation to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and a superior nation to all these other nations. Okay? Hey, so Lord willing, that was edifying. And call halayim unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakar Kodash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well and that teach the same, and salutations unto the elect Akim, hasten unto the second coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai. Shalom.